Alright, welcome back. This is going to be my brass prep video. As I spoke to in my last video about the 4831 SC, I've got all my Lapua brass fire formed, and these are the last 16 cases. I'm going to run through what I do for brass prep, and hopefully you can point some things out that I could be doing better, or even ask me why I'm doing some things that I'm doing, or whatever the case may be. But the first thing that I do is knock out the primers. I have a Lee Universal deep priming die. I guess you call it a die. It's not really dyeing anything. It's a tool. Set up in my old Lee oval press, and that's the first step. Get you a closer in view here. Alright, so here we are at the decapping die, and this is just a straight out the rifle Lapua case. And I just got done decapping a bunch of 223s, so obviously I can't be completely ready. Future reference for anybody that cares, number 3 is what works on the 6.5. Alright. Pop out the primer, that's all we're doing here. Just popping out the primers. Fancy little ramp came out. Oh, I better empty my I was knocking out 223 primers, so my fancy primer catchment tube is all full of small rifle primers, and I'm one of them weirdos that saves my old primers because you never know when all of civilization is going to collapse and primers aren't available, and you got to make your own compound and reprime your old primer cups. I know that's pretty far out there, but I don't know. I also just kind of like the aesthetic of, you know, having some jars laying around full of used primers. Just reminds me of how many times I've done that exact motion way too many times, because this step is what I do with everything, even my bulk reloads. This and the next step, cleaning, I do is the same for my precision stuff as it is for my bulk, like 223. A bunch that I just deep primed, and then that's what they look like when I'm done with them. Sorted, cleaned, everything. But that's that. 16 cases deep primed, and now I'm going to move on to cleaning them. And as well as tossing right in here in the box with the other there we go. Now we got 100 fire formed Lapua cases ready to be cleaned. move out to the garage for that. Well, here's my brass cleaning setup. This is a Vivor or Vivor, however you pronounce it. It's that tool company that is all over the place now. But they had this, wherever you call it, rotating tumbler, whatever they call it. But I think it's a pretty nice alternative to the Frankford Arsenal. I don't remember what it cost. It might have been around 80, maybe it was like 60 bucks on sale. I remember I got it on sale. Anyway, I think it's like normally $80 and sometimes it goes on sale for like 60. But it holds, there's 100 6.5 by 55 cases in there. I've never used the Frankford Arsenal, but there it is in there with about, 3/4 full of water, stainless steel pins. I don't know what pins those are. They're whatever Amazon had cheapest. As long as they're skinny enough to fit through the flash hole and long enough to not get stuck in the primer pocket. That's all I care about, because man, it's annoying when and these I don't worry so much. Large primer I don't worry so much because I don't progressive press anything with large primer, except for 45 ACP sometimes. But anyway, I hate it when they get stuck sideways in the primer pocket. So just make sure you get ones that are cut long enough that they don't do that. And as long as they fit through the flash hole, even if they don't fit through the flash hole, as long as they're long enough not to get stuck in the primer pockets. That's so annoying. But anyway, I do that, and then I just take the cheapest dish soap that you can find, about that much. Perfect. And then this has just a lid with a gasket on it. It has a through pin there, and then it has this cam that goes on, and then this one doesn't have a through hole. Lock it down. Gets tossed on like that. And then this is still probably set for me doing 223 cases, so hopefully it just goes. And this has a timer for 60 minutes, or you can just flip it to on and it'll just go continuous. But for now, these cases aren't very dirty, so I'm just gonna crank it to 30 minutes, see how they look after that. But this has a function of either spinning continuously this way, or middle is off. That way goes one way and then spins back. So you see that. And that's the thing. It does that for infinity. I just leave it on continuous while it's doing this. This is the lowest speed setting, just so you know. It seems to be about perfect for brass. Sometimes there's a pause in between each speed setting. Sometimes I run it on 2. But actually 2 seems to be a little bit better for this. It depends on what load there is and everything on it. But pretty much whatever's making the most noise is just doing the best job. And then I also do this. It's just a Rubbermaid with a old quilt on it. There, isn't that much quieter? So now I can actually think while I'm out here in the garage working on stuff while this thing's treaching away. But I'll let that get all cleaned up and I'll show you the end results. All right, tumbler just finished. So what I do is just an old strainer, colander, whatever you call it, depending on where you are. Undo that. Go ahead and dump everything in there. Don't worry too much about getting all the pins out because I'm going to do another batch next. After only half an hour, it's looking pretty shiny. Now I just give everything a shake. I kind of wish I had one of them crank jobs that, you know, Frankfurt Arsenal sells, goes into like a modified 5-gallon pail. Maybe I'll build one someday, but for now this works fine for anything that like fits in here, and as long as I'm careful about it, it works. It's kind of loud, but anyway, I'm sure I got them all out by now. So I'll take this outside, rinse it all off, shake it around, rinse it all off, shake it around. And then just for time's sake, because I'm trying to get this done tonight, it's already, what, 12 after 9. I'll probably put them on pan, stick them in the toaster oven, just like at the lowest setting. What is that, like 180 degrees or something like that. Nothing that'll mess with like it won't anneal anything or nothing like that, you know. It just enough to dry them off. That way I can go through the rest of my brass prep tonight yet. So see you when these are all ready. Well, I did not get my brass prep done last night. Well, 2 nights ago. It was 2 days later. But I did get 50 of them through. What I'm using is a Lee Call die, just to neck size. And then I remembered that I have this Redding body die that doesn't do the neck, it just does the body. And my thought was that I would just I would run through a body die and then I'd use the collet die to size the neck. But I'm wondering if that's even necessary, because the just neck sized cases I mean, it does close a little, but it's not, there's a slight bit of resistance on the bolt when I close. But that, good catch. That sounds to me like a good thing. So I don't know if I should be body sizing them at all. If that's just more stress on the brass than needs to be. But I think what I'm going to do, I already have 50 of them all neck size, but I think I'm going to, all of the cases that I haven't done, I'm going to run through the body sizer as well, and then neck size them, and I will separate them out and maybe do some side-by-side comparisons going forward on both of them and shoot groups of both, just to have extra data points to keep track of, and maybe I can learn something from there. But for now, everything in this box is just neck sized. I have it on video so I won't forget. Set that out of the way. Now we'll go through all of the ones that just are fresh out of the tumbler. I'll body size them and then run them through the collet neck sizer, and then that's pretty much it. So I'll bring you in for a closer look what that looks like. Alright, so this is what I got going on with my body sizing die. Excuse the sound in the background, I got the 3D printer just going burr back there. But I'll go ahead and take my collet die out. And just set it there because we'll need it next. This writing die has a set screw on it, but I don't even mess with it because it seems like I run through this adjustment process every time. Not that I've done it a lot. I ran through this when I was shooting some PPU brass, but I'll just go ahead and run that in. Plenty tall. And then what I do is I'm trying to size these to just have 1.5 to 2 thousandths bump on the shoulder. So I have one of these Hornady bullet comparators. Right now it's got the insert in it that I use to measure the ogive to base measurement on loading cases, and then it's not in there. Oh, there it is. I have it set off to the side. And this, I took the one that I knew I wasn't going to be using. This is the 8 to 30. I have no use for that one for anything that I care to get a ogive to base measurement on. So I just drilled it out and I polished the shoulder face on it so that way it would be, you know, consistent. It's just held in there with a set screw like that. But that way I just got a measurement of whatever like halfway on the shoulder was, and that's the size that I drilled this out to, so that way it gets a data point from right there. Clamp that. And the caliper, make sure it's good and square. Zero out my caliper. Make sure surfaces are clean. There we go. And then from there I'll just get a few measurements. That one is 2.896. .899. It's not as consistent as I'm looking for. Let's see, 2.899. 2.899. And 2.898. 2.899. .898. 2.899. So 2.899. So that means we're shooting for 2.897 on this reading. Yeah. So I know that this is massively tall, but I'll walk it down there, run one through. Go. See if we touched it. Nope, that actually stretched it just a tad. So, and a little more. I'll just keep doing this process over and over until I bump that shoulder 2 thousandths, and I'm at 2.897. It's actually stretching. Make sure you're keeping it good and lubed. Last thing I want to do is get one of these cases stuck. Oh, too far. Set that one off to the side. I got impatient there. I just cranked it because I wasn't getting anywhere. But it's real finicky when you, after you touch the shoulder. I mean, it's only 2 thousandths. So I'll just go like 1/16 to 1/8 turns. Still haven't touched. Felt like we touched the shoulder there. Make sure we clean it off. Yep, there we touched the shoulder. We're at 2.898. So I'm gonna give it just the slightest little turn there. And 2.897, we're there. Next one through. I mean, it's sizing that body down quite a bit. It's moving enough metal that I kind of have to run it through there twice to get it to there. 2.896. It's a little short, but we'll. Oh no. Oh no. There it is. We're freaking stuck. Oh. off, set that one aside. That one got stuck. Kind of messed up. The ram is all bulged out. Thought maybe we'd save it, but I pulled on it too hard. So we have 99 Lipo cases now. Onward. Make sure I have plenty of lube. Nope. Nope. Well, I was gonna destroy that case too. It wasn't going in. I think we're gonna scrap the body dyeing. It just has to move too much. I don't know what the deal is. If my chamber isn't cut right, I mean, man, it is really squeezing the base. When it gets to here, I mean, you look at the ones that you can almost see, oh, there's a good, not quite a hump there. You can't quite feel it with a fingernail or anything, but it's moving that body a lot. So I think we're going to scrap the body dye for now. I already ruined a case, and the next one wasn't even halfway in there before it just stopped. So I don't know what the deal is there. It's a Redding 6x55 SM body. Maybe I have the wrong dye. Maybe there's like a large base or something like that that I'm not aware of, but yep, that was a no-go. So I'll put my collet dye in and we'll run these through. I have this set up. There's a Sharpie mark that I have that lines up with the stupid plunger thing that these Lee presses have. I set that a long time ago. That's about the right tension to give me, I think, about 2 thousandths. Take that back off and we'll check that. 0 caliper. Well, that's wonky. Alright. 0.266 at its widest. So 0.265, almost creeping up 266. .265. All right. Run it into the collet die. Push down. Give it a quarter turn. Do it again. And that's of course a calibrated push down that I'm giving it. I know that there's some people that like put a torque wrench on them. Now we're at 262, 263, right in there. But that this is pretty consistent. I've been doing this. .262, between 262 and 263. That's what I do. I just run them in, do it twice, give it a quarter turn, just because that collet doesn't fully cover it. You know, there's a space between each collet, a tooth, I guess you'd call it, each flute of the collet, and so I just give it a quarter turn to make sure that every piece is getting covered. But that's it. This is a nice quick process. It's not moving a lot of metal. Hopefully I don't end up needing to body die, but like it chambers just fine. So I would think that this is perfectly reasonable. I've heard that there's some people this is their go-to way, so I mean, I can't be doing anything too out of the norm. Neck sizing only. Like, I know that's what a lot of like bench rest guys, that's all they do. Maybe not all they do. Who knows? That those guys got a lot going on. The one bench rest guy that I know, that's what he always did, but he was very old school. So he used like an arbor press and a bushing die, and he'd load at the bench or load on his tailgate. But this is a nice, quick, easy way of doing it. Seems to give pretty consistent results. I'd like to get some sort of fixture to be able to measure concentricity and stuff like that, just because I like to know things. Not necessarily because it matters that much to me, but I just like having information, see how consistent this really is. But hopefully it'll just show in boot sizes and standard deviations. The only other thing, and this isn't really a brass prep thing, but I've been thinking about when I get something dialed in that I want to run with. I've got this this is just a graphite powder. I've got enough here to last, you know, 20 people 10 lifetimes each to do this method. But I did it before, where I just put some in a Will cup with some acetone, put it on a Q-tip, and I can coat the inside of the case with just a real thin layer of graphite. And I don't know if that would help anything or not. I don't see why it would hurt anything, but who knows, it might just give it a little bit more consistent. Pressure spikes or whatever, bullet leaving the case. It'd be worth a shot. Get some of this stuff dialed in, do some comparisons, get a good number of groups going, and then just go out and do the same loads of the graphite coat but that's just a future video maybe. I'm thinking about switching up bullets too, because I saw that Midway USA has their factory second bullets, which you got to be careful with those. Some of them are kind of a scam, but or just, you know, sold as factory seconds, but they're really regular price. But they have a bunch of Hornady ELDMs and ELDXs in bulk for less than I can get these regular boat tail hollow point match bullets for. So I'm thinking about just getting a whole crap load of the ELDXs, so I know that they're a good bullet. I don't know how far off the factory seconds would be, if it's enough for me to worry about, but I think I might just get a crap ton of them and give them a shot, because I wouldn't mind using this rifle to take an antelope or something someday, so it'd be cool to just have one bullet that I'm using for competition and hunting. But we'll see. I still have a couple hundred of these boat tail hollow point matches to shoot through. Oh wow, look at this. We lucked out. We sure lucked out. This Lapua box had 101 in it, and we destroyed one. We still have 100. Let's go. But that's it. That's the brass prep. Now I've got, well, a couple of them are shoulder bumped. I'm not even gonna bother marking them or anything. So we've got all 100 prep, just ready for primers, and we'll continue on of testing. I got this Frankfurt Arsenal Intel dropper on Amazon Prime Days. It was on sale for, so I just couldn't pass it up. I never really thought that I'd care to have a automatic powder measurer, but for that price I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. So I think I'm going to learn how to use that, and then maybe I'll use that in the next video for throwing charges, and I'll compare it to the method that I've been doing with just the old digital scale. And I know that digital scale is accurate. I've tested it up against my 2 balance beam scales, so we'll give this thing a shot, and that might save me a lot of that. So we'll move on with the next video, just loading some more up around that 48.5 range for the 4831 SC, and that's it. Brass prep is done. Thanks for watching. What I did to get that case out is, well, at first I grabbed a punch, and it wasn't long enough to reach all the way to the base of the case, and it was hitting on there. So I just grabbed a piece of 1/4 inch ready rod that I already had, chopped the seems to be perfect size. I quick kind of chamfered and polished up this end, so that way I wasn't doing anything real dirty to the inside of this. Held pressure on it while I gave it some taps with the oil universal here, and that seemed to work pretty good. Except for I pulled too hard and screwed up the base of this case, but that other one that I got stuck, I just didn't pull as hard, and I gave it some wraps, and looking in there, it did not do anything on the inside of that case. I really doubt I'll be able to. You can kind of see in there, but like looking at it compared to anything else, there's not a mark on there. And just polishing up that face, I think, is what did that. And that air conditioner makes a lot of noise when it kicks on. But so that's how I got that out. It worked out well when I caught it early and didn't just, you know, caveman the thing in there. So just keep your head on you when you're doing it, and you might save yourself from destroying a case.